1x. Two X. Four X. Six X. One, two, three, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Maximum brightness. Pew! 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 Pew, pew. Pew. Pew, pew. This scope needs no introduction. You've been watching it for like the last 9 minutes or so. But nevertheless, it is the Vortex Viper PST Gen 2 1-6, graciously sent in by Patreon provider Cole. Cole is also the person who had graciously sent me in his Burris RT6 for review, which I was very, very grateful for. And I'm even more grateful for him sending this in to me, especially after Sparks had sent in his Gen 2 Razor for review. It's great to be able to get my hands on this and go through it the way I did with the Razor, practically back to back. This had come in the mail just after I sent Sparks' Razor back out to him. It would have been really cool to be able to do them side by side, but maybe next time. Cole had bought this refurbished from AA Optics. If you've never heard of them, they sell refurbished Vortex scopes, but not just magnified scopes. They also sell spotting scopes, red dots, and sometimes even rangefinders, so go check them out. He had ordered this and had it shipped directly to his door, and he pulled it out of the box to make sure it was in there, and then said, okay, it's coming over to you. So he barely had time to look through it before sending it out, because he knew that I really wanted to get my hands on this. So Cole, thank you very much. This is something really interesting, and I have to commend Vortex for making this scope, because it directly undermines their Razor HD series. What do I mean by that? If I had the Razor HD and this side by side, the only thing that would be different is basically the color. Yeah, the knurling is a little bit different on the magnification ring, on the ocular adjustment. Same thing goes with the illumination knob, but it's all basically the same. Even the turrets are surprisingly similar. It's incredible that they would make that scope, which, you know, is, if I'll get this to focus, you know, the Razor HD series is not cheap. Oh, they're so good. They're so good and tight. The Razor HD series is not cheap, and neither is this, really. This is about 600 bucks. Used market, you can find these for mid to high fours, which is really stellar. And I'll touch on the price later. But I think that this is a phenomenal LPVO. Truly excellent. Vortex claims it's about half as good as the Razor HD and less than half the price. And I would probably put it in that realm. Can't argue the price. Even at full street value, this is a $600 optic, whereas the Gen 2 Razor HD E is about $1,400. So less than half on the price, but I feel that this punches well above its weight when it comes to its performance for its value. Granted, This does have some slight issues that the Razr HD did not, and you know, that's to be expected with anything that's built to a price point. I'm sure that this was built to fit right in between the Strike Eagle and the Razr HD. So with that, you're going to have some slight issues, but it's very, very, very slight. First in the unboxing, I'd mentioned that this was a little bit loose, and I'd come to get confirmation from several other people that had bought these brand new, and theirs are nice and tight. So this is probably what had gone bad on the person that sent it in to Vortex to get repaired. Vortex then rebuilt it, sent it out to AA Optics to then resell it, and then Cole bought it from them. So I believe that this might have been the issue, but again, in the video you could see that the illumination works perfectly fine on this, and again, it's still pretty tight once it's in its location. It's just got a little bit of play, so that's not really an issue. The only issue I've really noticed is there is a bit of chromatic aberration at the higher magnification, and the eye box at 6 does get a little tight, but it's not what I would consider unusable. It also gets a little bit darker, but again, this is built to a price point. You don't really have those issues with the Razr HD, but for $1,400, you better not. However, it still leaps and bounds better than a Strike Eagle. You can't even compare this to a Strike Eagle. Yes, it's twice the price of the Strike Eagle, but it performs twice as much as the Strike Eagle, at least. So this thing has been built to a specific price point on a very particular zone on the Vortex lineup, and it shows. I feel that Vortex hit the nail on the head when they came up with this design and built it. Sorry, I'm having focusing issues on this for whatever reason. This thing is excellent. It tracks great. The illumination is great. The reticle is great. People might complain that, oh, well, it's not, you know, the ACSS reticle from Primary Arms. And you know what? Okay, who cares? I personally prefer a simpler reticle like on this. It's got a very bright illuminated dot right at the middle, which is all you need. It's got usable drops on both elevation and windage. It's simple. It's not going to distract you while you're trying to take a shot. And that's more important to me than having a reticle that's trying to do 400 things at once. I just want to be able to line up and squeeze the trigger and make a hit. Hopefully. This is not a pig snorting. This is just the turrets on the scope being run. You're going to note at the very extremes on both the windage and the elevation, it looks like it might get a little askew. 0. That is because the scope is not perfectly level. It's off ever so slightly, but as you can see, it still tracks really well and returns to 0. Zero. Zero. I think it's safe to say that this thing tracks well. So the only issues I've had with this, I've already mentioned. Slight bit of chromatic aberration at like 5 to 6x. Below that, you don't even notice it. 6x gets a little bit dark and a little bit tight in the eye box, but again, it is a super nitpick. Really not terrible at all. You will notice it if you're in a really awkward situation, as far as like you're lying on the floor on your side or something like that, trying to use 6x. Anything other than that, you're not going to really notice it. And one thing that I noticed when I was doing the tracking test, you might have noticed it, I had gone back and forth 1 or 2 clicks, and that's because it's hard for me to line up this little dot to where it actually is on the turret. But again, this is going to be set, zeroed, adjusted, capped, and left alone. So not really a pet peeve on that. If this was a target style scope, then that would be a bit of a worry, because it might not seem it, but there's a fair amount of distance here. It's probably about 1/4 inch. And if you go to click one over, which this is hard to do because of how tight this is, if you do it quickly, you might not notice that extra click. But again, super, super pet peeve. Nothing to write home about or cry about. I do find it interesting that this does come with a sunshade, considering that the lens on this thing on the front is recessed about 1 inch from the front. So I don't know why they would do that, but it's cool. I've never seen a sunshade on LPVO before. Ocular adjustment's still super tight, like ridiculously tight. It's great. When they're this tight, you don't even have to worry about having a lock on it, because I don't think it's ever going to come loose. This thing is absolutely fantastic. If you're wanting to get into a more budget-oriented scope, okay, you can only afford $200 to $300. I understand. But if you can hold out, if you can just save up a little bit more or sell something else, at least get into this. If you're looking at the Strike Eagle seriously, yes, they'll go on sale for pretty cheap, low 200s, low to mid 200s on average for a decent sale on a Strike Eagle, sometimes even with the mount. Keep your eye open for sales on this. This thing is well worth its full asking price, around $600. You can get it all day long on Amazon or other retailers. If you could find one used, get it, because if there is a problem, you send it right back into Vortex and they give you a new one. And I'm not saying that trying to exploit Vortex, that's part of their warranty. And that's one of the reasons why you should consider buying a Vortex, because you could buy it used, and if there is a problem or if it's damaged in any way, shape, or form, Vortex is going to take care of it for you. You don't have to worry about it. And yeah, if you could save $200 and buy this used, who cares what the condition is? Maybe you can buy it with the amount that you're looking for. That's a no-brainer. You're saving a ton of money, and you're getting an optic that's still going to carry the same warranty as if it was brand new. But if you're one of those people that needs to have something that's brand new, just save up and get this. Treat yourself to something amazing. The only thing it absolutely needs is a throw lever, because this thing is very tight and it's pretty slick. This knurling, it looks good. It looks like it might grip, but you'll have a hard time grabbing this thing when it's mounted to a receiver. It's tough, and it's also a little bit over 180 degrees to get full rotation on it. So a little bit over 200, I'd say, because 180 would be right there. You're out to here. That's the only thing you need to invest money on, is a throw lever for this. Other than that, you get a really good set of rings or a good mount, and you just use this thing and just treat it like a redheaded stepchild, because I guarantee you this thing is going to perform every single time you need it. The expression is, you buy once, you cry once, but myself included, buying a $1,400 optic for any sort of shooting environment it's a huge step. But this is less than half of that, and it performs way better than just half of what the $1,400 optic performs at. You would not be disappointed in this thing. And in fact, this is my 100% recommendation for a 1 to 6 in any sort of budget less than $1,000. This is the one. So Cole, thank you so much. I'm really going to consider keeping my eyes out on this. I don't know. I don't need it. I really don't. The reason why I'm still sticking with my Steiner P4XI is because it suits everything that I need in an LPVO. But if you need a 6X and you like a simple reticle and you want a daytime bright illumination, this is the one to get. Look no further. Just go out and buy it and enjoy it. Thank you very much for watching. See you again next time.